good ball at times, but the number one important thing for us is back to is health.
Yeah.
You know, we finally got healthy, you know, with AR coming back, and then Luka goes down with the hamstring. So, you know, that is going to be the most important for our team.
Yeah.
It's not trying to get his numbers. It's about how can we get enough minutes and chemistry
reps
on the floor and reps, like, you know, okay, this is what our fourth quarter lineup looks like. This is, you know, how we end the quarters. You know, a lot of games are won, you know, in the last minute and a half of quarters. You know, how can you outscore the team? How can you get more possessions? So
the rotations are always changing.
Rotations are always changing.
So how do you work on it?
You know, that's for us to be, you know, I think 11 games, 12 games over 500 right now, top 6 seed in the West. I think it's pretty damn good under the situation that we've been in, but we got to keep going.
He's right. Bravo. Hold on. Bravo. Breaking news. The most important thing is health. Wow. Who the hell don't know that? Come on, man.
Come on,
saying,
y'all.
And listen, I'll let you go first, but I hate.
No, tell me.
I hate when God, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about anybody. I swear I wish I wasn't over FCC Airways. Who don't know that? If you're not healthy, you're not on the court, or you're on the court hobbled. Who doesn't know health? I can't. This is why I get up. I get mad sometimes. Because I'm one of those dudes that I want these cats to have their podcast, and I want them to edify us and to educate us about the game and all that other stuff. I tell them anytime when I talk to you about you, when I tell you, I always say to y'all, how many times have I said this, y'all? How many times have you seen me say this to football analysts that come on the show? Yo, man, y'all played the game. Y'all played the game at the highest level. Make sure you always throw in a nugget of something we don't know. That's it. Who the hell doesn't know health? Is Jason Tatum on the Boston Celtics?
Yes.
Is he playing?
No.
Thank you. Is Tyrese Halliburton playing?
No.
Is Damian Lillard playing in Portland?
No.
Why not?
Achilles.
Go ahead.
All right.
Hell. Hey, who doesn't know that?
I'm not a LeBron apologist. I think there are times I agree with LeBron, there are times I disagree with LeBron. Number one, LeBron didn't choose that clip that we showed. We did. Okay? So, like, when you're talking for an hour and a half.
That's fair.
When you're talking for an hour and a half, you just start talking to another hooper and you say, hey, like, you know, health is an important thing for all of us. That's number one. Number two, I do think sometimes, and it's not this show because we talk basketball.
Right.
You talk basketball.
Right.
Other shows just run with lazy narratives.
Yeah, that's true.
That sometimes guys like LeBron like to combat. And the last thing I'll say, Perk, is I know you give me that side look out of your eye.
I just want to know where you're going with
I can feel it. When LeBron, Austin Reaves, and Luka play a combined 10 games out of 54 games, only 10, and they're in 5th in the West, with the unavailability of health, he's right. They're in striking position. Look, I don't think anybody up here going to say we think they're going to, unless you tell me you're going to pick the Lakers. I know you ain't going to pick the Lakers to beat OKC or potentially.
But I am rooting for them to do so.
Yes, and we understand why.
Absolutely.
Yes, we understand why.
We do realize you have a hidden agenda.
Yes.
Not so.
But if
But I don't understand.
could they win the Western Conference? No.
No, I think their
what's
ceiling
the
is the
ceiling?
Western Conference semifinals.
Okay.
I think that's their ceiling. And I think that's okay to say. But they're
That's like where they're at now, kind of.
yeah, but they're
4 seed and
they're in striking position. That's all you can ask for if you're LeBron and if you're Luka Doncic at this point.
Well, this is not breaking news.
What do you mean?
Like, Luka is one of the best players in the world. He's leading the league in scoring. Even without LeBron James, it was still Luka and Austin Reaves on the floor. And then when Luka had to miss a few, you go in there and you beat the Sacramento Kings team, you know, with Austin Reaves leading the charge, who has shown that he's an all-star caliber player. Okay, Austin Reaves is out. You still have Luka and Braun. And then Luka goes out. You still have Braun and Austin Reaves. They have enough offensive firepower that they're going to win you regular season games at a high level. But that's not what Los Angeles Lakers are about. It's about championships or bust. And can they compete and go win a championship? The answer is hell no. Because it's another side of the basketball, and this is one of the reasons why I question, outside of Luka, is Austin Reaves the guy that the Lakers are going to max out? Can you, because let's forget this season. Let's go past this season, right? Can you invest majority of your money into Austin Reaves and Luka and think that you have a legitimate shot at going win a championship. I don't. You know why?
I agree with that.
Because you got, at some point, you got to get your ass down and slide those puppies. You got to be able to defend. The Lakers have one of the best offensive teams right now. But guess what? They can't guard senior citizens at recess right now with this squad. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the league. They have a big that complain every day in DeAndre Ayton. You look at his numbers, you think he have a double-double, and that's fool's gold. So no, if you asking me, can this team go out and compete and contend to win a championship this year? Hell no, they still in this second round.
Did you think they could at the beginning of the season?
No.
That was my point.
So when
That was my point.
When Austin Reaves, Luka Doncic, and LeBron James all play together, they're 7-2 so far this season. A very small sample size.
Offensively, however, the only last point I said is offensively, when you are prolific, you can put opposing offenses on their heels. You can compromise them because you can make them tight because they know they can't stop you. So again, the Lakers' ceiling is probably the Western Conference Finals because they're good enough to win a couple of series in the NBA if their offense is clicking. But they ultimately will run into a wall. They won't make the finals.
Remember what that man in the Minnesota Timberwolves did to them last year in the first round?
I agree.
We thought the same thing.
I know. But they also stopped them. See what I'm saying? They neutralized them offensively. It wasn't they just outscored them. They put them on lock and
You're
key when they
giving them
had
more
to.
credit than these two, the Western Conference.
Oh, God.
I ain't seen him in a minute.
Hey,
I didn't see the boy in a minute.
Hey, all I want to ask you
What's
is,
up, baby?
can I be an ambassador? You know what I mean? Over there. Over there.
I just want to go to Switzerland. Just send me to Switzerland. Send me to Switzerland. What up, boy? What's up, baby?
What's going on?
Ooh, that's cold-blooded. That's baby blue.
That's my guy. What's going on?
That's baby blue.
How you doing, baby?
Hold on now.
All of my boys in here, so I figured I had to roll up.
We're talking,
been a minute.
We're talking about LeBron James, naturally, and the question
Is
was,
his mic on?
would he be better off wrapping things up in a nice bow in Cleveland next year?
Whoa.
Hold on.
Let me get him to say. You don't talk about a
I'm
microphone.
just talk into the mic. Don't worry, we good. I'm always had a mic. I'd have just leaned in. I'd have just leaned in the big bird. That's what I would have done, Jay. I would have just leaned in the big bird. You know, Perk brought it up. I brought it up last summer. If you want to win a championship, you go back to Cleveland. And this is before they acquired James Harden. I was like, LeBron in Cleveland with D. Mitch, with Mobley, with Allen, damn, they could win the chip. So certainly with James Harden there, without question. Now, there is a quality of life issue, you know.
You can still keep the crib in L.A.
No. Yeah, but you can't be there. You see what I'm saying? You can't be there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Lake Erie, Ohio, Tinseltown. I mean, it's just a little bit different, man. It's just a little bit different.
If somebody can provide LeBron the blueprint on how to do both.
Here we go.
Ha ha.
But you go to undisclosed
I go to undisclosed locations, tropical locations, and those that might as well be tropical locations. So certainly, you know, but I'm just saying that's a
Now,
story.
you're a capitalist, and as am I.
Yes.
I did suggest to Kendrick Perkins here, and he rolled his eyes. I said, should LeBron take a discount, maybe be a minimum contract?
Well, let's say this. LeBron has been underpaid for years. In fairness to him, the man and what he has meant to the NBA and the money he has brought into the NBA, which this brother can speak about. You seen this brother on social media with his? Oh, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's must-see social media stuff. Yeah, I'm very proud. You're very good, you. You're very good, you. I mean, it's very good. That's right. And you did it. I mean, you got it. So here's the deal. He knows about the money, but the bottom line is being associated with the Laker brand does bring you off the court money. And that's on top of who LeBron is and what he's going to bring on his own. So the money is not really the issue, and you got a cap. And so the Lakers got to do what they got to do. And not only that, you want to put them in the best position to win. I don't see how they can do it in the West. I think if he wants a chip, he goes back East. If it's about his quality of life, he stays the hell out West. And neither position can be criticized. If he decides, look, man, I already won 4. It's about my quality of life. I understand. I really, really do. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on in places like LA.
They'll be open to it, and I also think the Lakers understand that will probably be his last season. That's what a lot of the signs point to, and so for that, if he's going to be celebrated, if it's going to be a farewell tour, and there's going to be a lot of attention around it, I think the Los Angeles Lakers would like that attention. I think they would want that to be a part of their legacy moving forward, and also based on the stats, he's still giving you valuable minutes where he can help you win basketball games. Until that changes, I think one of the teams that he can help do that is going to be the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, all signs do point to him returning to Cleveland, and that'll be a feel-good story. And also, that's somewhere where they still can have an opportunity to compete for a championship. They feel like with the group that they would have out in Ohio. I still like that as well. But if the Lakers are open to bringing him back, I think this wins. But we also know that LeBron James is always in control of his destiny and how things go. He has the no trade clause, so they couldn't trade him. And he has an opportunity to walk away as a free agent in this summer. So it's going to go his way. And I think the Lakers are going to be on the short list of teams that he would consider, based on Bronny still being there, based on that being, somewhere that he's called home for the last, 7 or 8 seasons. I think they're still in the conversation and still in LeBron James for another year.
Yeah, and I think most importantly, like Lou said, he's still really good. The guy, I don't care how, I don't look at 41 years old. I look at 33 minutes a game and 22, 7, and 6. Like, this guy is still an elite basketball player. And yes, he's missed some time, he's missed some games. That's natural with where he's at in his career. But the writing's on the wall to me to Cleveland. And you see there that Wendy, who's always been his boy, 99% likelihood of LeBron returning to Cleveland if he accepts pay cut and he joins that team that could be a real contender. By the way, they did just trade their starting small forward, DeAndre Hunter, and made room for a big athletic wing like LeBron James. And you go and add a James Harden. I think that is attractive to LeBron. I think he's more likely to win a championship with that roster in Cleveland than this current roster in LA. So I just,
you feel like that's based on the conference?
Based on the conference, just based on that roster. Like, I think Cleveland's a better team than the Lakers. I really do. So, like, if you can join that team, and obviously the Lakers would make moves, they would fill that hole with other players as well. So they're going to make some subs in there too. But if it's his last year, for sure, Cleveland just makes sense. It's where it started. Let it in there.
It's like a movie. It's almost too. It's almost too movie.
Let them win a championship too.
Stop. Just settle down. I really need you to settle down. You're like,
that would be a hell of a story though if LeBron goes back to Cleveland and.
It's just not happening. By the way, we now know that while he was getting all better with the sciatic nerve, that he gave up wine and chocolate chip cookies, y'all. I'm not a big chocolate chip cookie person, but I don't know. Any vices that you two would have to give up to make amends with the injury gods?
Not that I can talk about on here, but
okay,
cookies and wine, those are tough too to shake. I'll say that.
I don't think every chocolate chip cookie is a good cookie. I got to be honest. I mean, I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but they're not.
The goods are great.
It's pretty bad ones.
Like ice cream is tough. Like coffee for me would be a killer. Like there's a bunch of stuff.
Nope, I don't have that vice. Oh, you know what? Peach gummies. I should give that up. Jeez, I'm eating a bag a day.
I didn't give up nothing. My body ran off 87 my whole career, so I didn't give up nothing. I was blessed in that area. I was able to eat whatever I wanted to eat.
Lou, you're acting like you don't have vices.
I wasn't LeBron James either, so that's that.
Sleep, like sleep. I need sleep, or else, you know what I mean. Like if I would actually sleep early, I would be a completely different person.
Sleep.
I didn't fall in love with sleep until I retired. So that was considered a luxury.
Weird. One day we're gonna have a whole hour. We don't even have a rundown. We're just gonna have a conversation.
I have to agree with you, Beetle. I'm different. What do you mean you say?
I'm built different. All right, we're gonna take a quick break.
Here's the truth that's going to fundamentally change how you think about everything happening with the Los Angeles Lakers right now. What everyone's been interpreting as organizational chaos, front office confusion, and strategic uncertainty is actually the most methodical, sophisticated, and brilliantly executed team-building masterpiece we've witnessed in professional basketball in over a decade. And the only reason most people can't see it is because we've been conditioned to expect instant gratification and immediate results rather than appreciating the type of patient, strategic excellence that produces dynasty-level success over multiple years and different competitive cycles. The question that's been absolutely consuming my thoughts for months isn't whether the Lakers have a coherent plan, because the evidence for strategic brilliance is overwhelming once you start connecting the dots. The real question is whether we as basketball fans, media analysts, and casual observers have become so addicted to drama and crisis narratives that we're fundamentally incapable of recognizing genius-level organizational thinking when it's unfolding right in front of us in real time, requiring patience and strategic vision rather than immediate validation and instant success. What makes this situation even more fascinating is how the Lakers have managed to execute this comprehensive rebuilding process while maintaining competitive relevance, continuing to attract elite talent, and positioning themselves for both immediate championship contention and long-term sustained excellence. This isn't just team building. It's organizational architecture designed to function at the highest levels, regardless of changing personnel, evolving league dynamics, or unexpected circumstances that force rapid strategic adjustments. If you're sitting there thinking, finally, someone who understands that great organizations think in years and decades rather than weeks and months, go ahead and absolutely destroy that like button, because I'm about to present the most compelling case you'll ever hear for why everything the Lakers are doing right now is building towards something so strategically brilliant and competitively dominant that future NBA executives, business school professors, and sports management experts will study this period as the definitive example of how to construct championship caliber organizations in the modern professional sports landscape. The philosophical foundation of everything the Lakers are accomplishing starts with a deceptively simple but revolutionary understanding of how championship basketball actually functions in today's ultra-competitive NBA environment, where marginal advantages compound over entire seasons and playoff series to create the difference between contention and disappointment. Their core insight isn't flashy or headline generating, but it's absolutely crucial. You build championship teams around defenders who possess length and can consistently knock down three-point shots, not around collections of individually talented players who excel at one specific skill while being catastrophic liabilities in other essential areas of basketball competition. This represents a fundamental philosophical evolution from the superstar collecting approach that dominated NBA team building for the previous decade, where organizations assumed they could acquire elite individual talent and figure out the complementary pieces later through coaching, chemistry, and hope, rather than systematic evaluation and strategic planning. Instead of throwing money at big names and praying that talent would naturally coalesce into effective team basketball, the Lakers have embraced a more sophisticated understanding of how role players actually impact winning at the highest levels of competition. But here's what makes their approach so much more intelligent and strategic than it appears on the surface. They're not just randomly collecting 3-and-D players like every other organization claims to prioritize. They're specifically targeting defenders with length who can shoot, which sounds identical until you understand the subtle but absolutely crucial difference in emphasis and evaluation criteria. When you prioritize defensive capability first and offensive production second, you acquire players who can still contribute meaningful minutes even during shooting slumps, offensive droughts, or challenging matchups where their scoring disappears completely. This creates lineup flexibility and competitive reliability that allows coaching staffs to maintain defensive integrity and structural soundness regardless of game flow, opponent adjustments, shooting variance, or the countless unpredictable factors that determine success during high-pressure playoff competition. Instead of having players who become unplayable liabilities the moment their offensive contributions vanish, they're building a roster of contributors who provide baseline value through defensive impact, basketball intelligence, and competitive consistency that remains valuable even when individual statistics fluctuate wildly. The specific targets they've identified reveal the sophistication of their evaluation process and strategic thinking. Andrew Wiggins brings the combination of size, athleticism, and proven playoff experience that allows him to guard multiple positions while providing reliable offensive production that doesn't require specific plays designed for his benefit. Tobias Harris offers veteran leadership, basketball IQ, and the type of steady professional approach that championship teams need from experienced role players who understand their responsibilities and execute them consistently, regardless of personal recognition or statistical achievement. Quentin Grimes represents the younger developmental tier of their strategy, bringing defensive intensity, competitive fire, and the potential for continued improvement that could transform him from solid contributor to legitimate impact player over the course of a multi-year championship window. Dean Wade embodies the unheralded professional excellence that championship teams discover and maximize, providing reliable three-point shooting, team-first mentality, and the willingness to accept whatever role serves the team's success, rather than demanding individual recognition or offensive involvement. I believe this systematic approach to talent evaluation represents a fundamental shift in how the Lakers think about roster construction, moving away from hoping that individual talent will naturally develop chemistry, toward building specific types of players who complement each other structurally and create collective advantages that exceed the sum of individual contributions. This isn't just smart basketball analysis. It's organizational psychology applied to competitive team building in ways that most franchises still don't fully understand or implement effectively. The strategic clarity becomes even more impressive when you examine the financial tools and capabilities the Lakers have developed to actually execute this vision. Because having brilliant plans means absolutely nothing if you lack the practical resources and structural advantages necessary to implement them successfully in a competitive marketplace, where every other organization is trying to accomplish similar goals with limited resources and constrained opportunities. Their salary cap flexibility isn't just about having money available to spend on free agents or trade acquisitions. It's about weaponizing that financial advantage in an economic environment where most legitimate contending teams are severely constrained by luxury tax penalties that make every roster decision exponentially more expensive and strategically complicated. While franchises like Golden State, Boston, Phoenix, and Milwaukee are forced to choose between keeping productive players and avoiding crushing tax bills that can reach hundreds of millions of dollars, the Lakers can absorb contracts, facilitate complex trades, and provide salary relief that makes them invaluable partners in multi-team transactions. This creates a competitive moat that extends far beyond simple spending power into areas of strategic leverage and market positioning that most organizations can't access regardless of their ownership resources or financial capabilities. When teams need to dump genuinely productive players purely for financial reasons rather than basketball considerations, the Lakers become the preferred destination. not because they offer the most attractive trade packages, but because they can provide immediate cap relief while taking on talent that actually improves both organizations simultaneously. Thinking about it from a market dynamics perspective, this positions them as facilitators rather than competitors in many trade scenarios, which means they're often getting compensated with additional draft picks, young prospects, or future considerations for solving other teams' luxury tax problems, while simultaneously improving their own roster with players they actually want, rather than unwanted contracts they're absorbing as favors. The beauty of this approach reveals itself when you realize they're not just collecting talent randomly or reactively responding to opportunities that emerge. They're proactively positioning themselves to be involved in virtually every significant trade conversation throughout the league. Whether they're absorbing unwanted salaries in 3-team deals that allow star players to join contending teams, providing cap space for sign-and-trade arrangements that help franchises retain departing free agents, or simply offering financial relief to tax-heavy organizations looking to reset their payroll structure, they've made themselves essential to the broader NBA ecosystem in ways that create opportunities and advantages other franchises simply cannot access. This systematic approach to financial leverage and trade facilitation has transformed them from just another team trying to acquire talent into a crucial component of league-wide player movement, which means they're often getting first access to available players, advance notice of potential trades, and preferential treatment in complex negotiations, because other organizations know the Lakers can actually complete deals that provide mutual benefits rather than just pursuing their own interests exclusively. Which brings us to what might represent the single most crucial decision point of their entire strategic rebuilding process: Austin Reaves and his potential 5-year, $241 million extension that would average out to approximately $48.5 million per year over the life of the contract. At first examination, this appears to be exactly the type of overpayment that destroys championship flexibility and prevents organizations from acquiring the complementary talent necessary for sustained competitive excellence. But when you examine this potential commitment within the broader strategic context of everything else the Lakers are trying to accomplish, it starts looking less like financial recklessness and more like the cornerstone decision that enables and accelerates every other aspect of their championship construction timeline. The fundamental question isn't whether Austin Reaves is worth that specific dollar amount in isolation from other considerations. It's whether locking him up at that salary creates more strategic opportunities and competitive advantages than it eliminates through reduced flexibility and resource allocation. Here's where the Lakers' understanding of salary cap mechanics and strategic roster construction becomes genuinely sophisticated in ways that most casual observers completely miss. Reaves' actual cap hit remains at approximately $20 million because NBA rules allow teams to exceed the salary cap to re-sign their own players, which means the Lakers maintain roughly $50 to $55 million in practical cap space even after committing to him long-term at his full salary amount. This distinction between actual salary paid and salary cap impact is absolutely crucial because it allows them to execute their 3&D acquisition strategy, absorb contracts and trades, facilitate complex multi-team deals, and maintain the financial flexibility necessary for championship-level roster construction, while simultaneously securing a player who's demonstrated he can perform at all-star level alongside their primary superstar talents. The contract structure isn't just about rewarding individual performance, It's about creating strategic advantages that compound over multiple seasons. But the underlying question that makes this decision so fascinating and potentially franchise-defining is whether Austin Reaves can maintain and potentially exceed his current level of performance when playoff intensity increases exponentially and every single possession becomes magnified under the type of pressure that reveals the difference between really good players and legitimate championship contributors. His regular season production has been consistently outstanding, demonstrating improved shooting accuracy, enhanced playmaking vision, better defensive positioning, and the type of basketball intelligence that suggests continued development rather than performance plateauing. However, championship teams absolutely require players who don't just maintain their regular season level during playoff competition, but who actually elevate their games during the most important and highest pressure moments, rather than shrinking when the spotlight becomes brightest and the stakes become highest. The financial commitment requires organizational confidence that he'll develop into a legitimate third star and primary supporting contributor rather than remaining a really good role player who happened to get paid like a franchise cornerstone. I believe his development trajectory, basketball IQ, competitive makeup, and proven ability to perform alongside elite talent suggest he'll continue improving and adapting to increased responsibilities and expectations. His willingness to accept whatever role serves team success rather than demanding individual recognition or statistical achievements demonstrates the type of professional maturity that championship organizations absolutely require from their highest paid players beyond their primary superstars. The Lakers' confidence in this decision becomes more understandable when you consider the alternative scenarios and how they impact organizational flexibility and competitive positioning. If Reaves continues developing and becomes a legitimate championship-level third star, they've locked up elite production at below market rates, considering the salary cap trajectory and inflation that will occur over the life of his contract. If he plateaus at his current level or struggles to adapt to increased playoff pressure and defensive attention, his contract becomes potentially trade-worthy precisely because other organizations will value his age, skill set, production level, and professional approach regardless of whether he's worth every dollar to the Lakers specifically. This type of strategic thinking demonstrates organizational sophistication that extends beyond individual player evaluation into broader considerations of asset management, competitive positioning, and risk mitigation that protects the franchise regardless of how specific personnel decisions ultimately develop over time. They're not just betting on Austin Reaves the player, they're betting on Austin Reaves the organizational fit and strategic asset who provides value through multiple different scenarios and outcomes, which connects directly to perhaps the most complex and strategically fascinating position battle currently unfolding within their roster: construction. The center position, where they're attempting to solve what might be the most challenging personnel puzzle in the entire league through evaluation, development, and strategic decision-making that will significantly impact their championship ceiling and competitive identity. DeAndre Ayton arrived in Los Angeles carrying legitimate expectations based on his draft pedigree, previous playoff success with Phoenix, and the organizational belief that his combination of size, athleticism, and basketball experience would provide the interior presence and defensive anchor that championship teams require from their center position. However, his Lakers experience has been significantly complicated by persistent questions about defensive impact, offensive limitations within their system, and overall fit alongside their primary stars and strategic approach. when Bleacher Report recently ranked him as the 6th most overrated player in the entire league. They weren't just offering controversial hot takes for engagement purposes. They were highlighting genuine concerns about whether his individual production and statistical achievements actually translate into the type of impact and value that justifies his reputation, role expectations, and organizational investment. The criticism reflects broader challenges that many talented centers face in today's NBA environment, where traditional big man skills don't necessarily align with what championship teams actually need during crucial playoff moments. The fundamental challenge with Ayton isn't that he lacks talent or professional commitment. It's that he's developed into a player whose specific skills and limitations don't align perfectly with what championship organizations need from their center position in today's ultra-competitive NBA landscape. His offensive efficiency statistics look impressive on paper, but they come primarily from easy shots created by others rather than self-generated production that keeps defenses honest and creates advantages for teammates through individual pressure and attention. Defensively, he provides the size, rebounding, and rim presence that traditional basketball evaluation prioritizes, but without the elite shot blocking ability, defensive versatility, or communication skills that genuinely elite teams require during playoff competition against dynamic offensive systems designed to exploit specific defensive weaknesses and personnel limitations. This creates situations where his individual production might look solid, while his overall impact on team success remains questionable or inconsistent. What makes this evaluation particularly complex is how Jackson Hayes has quietly emerged as a potential solution to roster construction problems that the Lakers didn't initially realize they had when they committed to Ayton as their primary center. Hayes' recent performances suggest he might represent exactly the type of complementary center who maximizes the talents of players like Luka Doncic and LeBron James without requiring specific offensive involvement, detailed play calling, or individual recognition to remain effective and impactful. His athletic ability to run the floor in transition, finish above the rim on lob passes and offensive rebounds, and provide consistent energy and effort without demanding touches or plays creates exactly the type of low-maintenance, high-impact production that championship teams need from their supporting cast. Additionally, his defensive mobility and willingness to switch onto perimeter players during specific matchups provide strategic flexibility that becomes invaluable during playoff series where coaching staffs need to make rapid adjustments and counter-adjustments. When Hayes completed the paperwork to obtain Slovenian citizenship, Brian Windhorst joked that he had basically signed a contract extension. And while that comment was obviously hyperbolic for entertainment purposes, it revealed something genuinely important about organizational fit, cultural alignment, and the intangible factors that often determine success in team sports beyond individual talent and statistical production. The connection Hayes now has with Luka Doncic through international basketball creates additional chemistry opportunities and communication advantages that extend far beyond simple on-court production into areas of trust, understanding, and shared competitive experience that can translate into better decision-making and execution during crucial moments when championships are won and lost. These types of relationships and cultural connections often prove more valuable than raw talent differentials, particularly in team sports where individual brilliance must be channeled through collective success. I'm thinking Hayes represents exactly the archetype of player who thrives in supporting roles on championship teams throughout basketball history. Athletic enough to excel in his specific responsibilities, intelligent enough to make correct decisions without requiring extensive coaching or play calling, versatile enough to adapt to different roles and matchups as needed, and professionally mature enough to accept whatever contributions serve team success rather than personal advancement or individual recognition. The Lakers center situation has become a fascinating case study in how championship organizations balance immediate production and statistical achievement with long-term fit, strategic alignment, and overall impact on team success and competitive ceiling. Ayton provides more consistent individual production and traditional statistical contributions, but Hayes might offer superior upside in specific matchups, playoff situations, and strategic contexts where mobility, chemistry, and role acceptance become more important than raw production and individual achievement. The decision between them reflects broader organizational questions about whether they're primarily focused on maximizing regular season wins and individual accolades, or building specifically for championship-level competition where different skills and attributes become exponentially more valuable than traditional statistical categories and individual accomplishments. This distinction becomes crucial because the skills that produce regular season success don't always translate directly into championship-level impact. This connects seamlessly to their approach regarding defensive personnel and the strategically crucial question of whether Jared Vanderbilt should claim the fifth starter position alongside Luka, LeBron, Austin Reaves, and whichever center they ultimately choose for their championship rotation. According to Basketball Index Analytics and Advanced Defensive Metrics, Vanderbilt currently ranks as the fourth most impactful wing stopper in the entire league, which represents exactly the type of elite defensive production that championship teams absolutely require to contain opposing superstars during playoff series where individual matchups often determine outcomes. But here's what makes Vanderbilt's case so compelling beyond the impressive statistical evidence and analytical support. He's already demonstrated he can perform this exact role during the highest pressure situations and most important games, having been a crucial defensive contributor during the Lakers' Western Conference Finals run in 2023 when they needed someone capable of guarding the opposing team's best perimeter players night after night throughout an extended playoff run. His proven ability to guard positions 1 through 4 while providing defensive rebounding, transition offense, and the type of versatility that allows coaching staffs to maintain defensive integrity regardless of opposing lineups, strategic adjustments, or in-game substitution patterns creates exactly the foundation that championship teams need from their defensive specialists and complementary contributors. This isn't theoretical potential or projected development. It's demonstrated championship-level performance under the brightest lights and highest pressure. The choice between Vanderbilt and Marcus Smart for that crucial fifth starter position represents a genuinely fascinating philosophical decision about what type of defensive approach and leadership style the Lakers want to prioritize as they construct their championship identity and competitive approach. Smart brings veteran leadership, elite communication skills, proven championship experience with Boston, and the type of tough competitive mentality that championship teams absolutely require from their veteran contributors and locker room leaders. However, Vanderbilt offers superior size, athleticism, positional flexibility, and physical tools that might prove more valuable during Western Conference playoff competition against the types of dynamic, versatile offensive players they'll inevitably face during championship pursuit. His length advantage allows him to contest shots and disrupt passing lanes in ways that smaller defenders simply cannot replicate, regardless of their effort, intelligence, or competitive desire. Additionally, Vanderbilt's improvement as a corner three-point shooter has eliminated the primary offensive concern about his limitations and spacing impact, transforming him from a potential liability who opponents could ignore into a legitimate threat who must be accounted for defensively. This development has made him a more complete two-way contributor than he was during his previous Lakers tenure, expanding his role potential and strategic value. I believe Vanderbilt's combination of defensive impact, positional versatility, and improved offensive reliability